All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So I wanted to make a video on the 1972 Mr. Olympia competition. Now, some people think this was a very controversial Olympia, primarily because Sergio Oliva claimed until the day that he died that year's Olympia was rigged in favor of Arnold Schwarzenegger winning that competition. Sergio firmly believed that Arnold Schwarzenegger was Joe Weider's poster boy. He was his rising star, and that Joe Weider influenced the judges on the judging panel to give that year's Olympia to Arnold. Now, obviously, the year prior in 1971, you guys may have seen my video on the 1971 Olympia, but in 1971, Arnold was the only person that showed up at the Olympia competition. Sergio was not allowed to compete in 1971, so the year prior to 1972, we did not get to see Arnold and Sergio go head-to-head. Arnold was the only competitor that showed up and was basically handed that 1971 trophy. So a lot of people were looking forward to 1972 because they really wanted to see a Sergio at his best go against Arnold at his best and kind of have a rematch from the 1970 Mr. Olympia, which was the first time that Arnold beat Sergio. So when Arnold beat Sergio in 1970, again, that was a little bit more decisive. I think Arnold looked a lot better in 1970, and Sergio didn't look as good as he looked in 1972. So it's important to note that in 1972, leading up to that Olympia, Sergio had completely changed his training methodology. So that year he had been training with Arthur Jones, who is the founder of the Nautilus Company, which is a brand of exercise equipment. And Arthur Jones is the same guy that conducted the Colorado experiment. You guys may have seen my video on the Colorado experiment as well. So that is basically an experiment that Arthur Jones did with a bodybuilder named Casey Viator, where Casey Viator put on over 60 pounds of muscle, allegedly, in less than 28 days, training under Arthur Jones's philosophies and diet and using Nautilus equipment, obviously. So Sergio went and trained with Arthur, and a lot of people will argue that 1962 or 1972 was his best physique ever after training with Arthur Jones, and really Sergio had completely revamped his physique for that year's Olympia, and a lot of people were expecting him to win because he looked significantly better than 1970, the last time that he went head-to-head with Arnold. But obviously that was not the case. He would come to 1972 Olympia and Arnold would win. And like I said before, he claimed that Joe Weider had the contest rigged for Arnold to win that show. So really, if you look at some of these shots, I think there's a couple of shots where Sergio does beat Arnold. But overall, I think Arnold probably still took the win. Arnold's conditioning was a little bit less impressive than it was in 1970 and in 1971. But still, I think Arnold did enough to really win that show. But there definitely are some shots where Sergio is superior. And I could see where a lot of people could make the case for Sergio winning that Olympia. In fact, a large majority of the bodybuilding community does agree with Sergio's opinion that maybe Arnold didn't deserve that year's Olympia, and some people even say that this is the second most controversial Olympia to the 1980 Mr. Olympia, which is the Olympia that Arnold Schwarzenegger would come back and win after a long hiatus. And a lot of people will say that is the worst appearance that Arnold ever made, was at the 1980 Olympia, and that win was the most controversial win that Arnold ever won. But in a lot of people's minds, the 1972 Olympia was just as controversial. In my opinion, when I review these photos, man, I see, Sergio, I think, is possibly at his best. I mean, he just looks great from the front. His V-taper is incredible. His back double bicep looks good as well. But I think overall, Arnold just overwhelms him with his size, his height. The separation in Arnold's biceps is one of the things that really takes away from Sergio's physique, because Sergio, although he had very big arms, I believe they were 22.5 to 23 inches leading up to that year's Olympia. Although they were big, they really didn't have that much separation from the front, and that's one of the things that really hurt Sergio in this competition. So overall, I don't think the competition was rigged. I think Arnold won fair and square, but a lot of people do. So let me know in the comment section what you think. Do you think this competition was rigged, or do you think Arnold won it? Nick Strength and Power, signing out.